Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Chess Advanced. And this game is from the Saint Louis Chess Club, and it's from Grandchester. So you have to understand that this is going to be one insane game. Rapid section has ended, and Fabi is leading actually ahead of 2 points. I think ahead of 2 or 1 point ahead of 11. But again, it's not that much of a gap. It would have been that much of a gap, but Gukesh was able to beat Fabi, and that happened really amazing way. So you can check out the game. I've showed it on my channel, but then again, Fabi's playing spectacularly well, and he might just be winning this tournament. But this game is also was very amazing, and I'm going to be showing Gukesh's few games, so you can check that out as well. Let's not keep let's not keep you all waiting for long. So without further ado, let's start with this game. Levon is with the white PC. Starts with e4. We have e5 by Gukesh, knight to f3, knight to c6, and bishop to e2. We go into the Taylor variation, king's pawn opening. We have knight to f6, d3, bishop to c5, but just knight to c3, and it just transposes into the Petrov's defense. We have castles, h6, but now just knight captures on e5. And you must have seen this opening. Knight captures, d4 being played by Yanji Duda, but instead of this d4, he played d3 and lost $20,000. I mean, that was a huge amount at that. Bishop to d6, but now just going for this f4. And f4 is a beautiful move. Now, all of this is coming. Also, this is coming. Here, knight to c6, but just e5. Now you're going to lose one of the pawns. That was sacrificed to gain the pawn, but here just bishop to e7 and just d5, pushing it all the way, attacking both the knights. And it features a very nice opening. That's why I wanted to show you, because there's a very beautiful line in this position that I wanted to show you. Knight captures on e5, only move, knight captures. And here in this position, a move like rook to e7 just consolidating is absolutely fine, because you can see that these pawns are advanced so far that you have to be careful. But here in this position, for some reason, bishop to c5 Gukesh goes for, just to try and not get his bishop traded off. But it's a blunder, and most people don't even think about this in the opening, that someone can blunder like this, so they don't even consider the fact that it's a blunder. And that's why here Levon played bishop to e3. But this is not a good move. The best move in this position is king to h1, just moving the king away, because these pawns are pushing so much, with bishop getting in, with queen getting in. And this is just looking very disgusting, because here if you go for rook to e8, now comes bishop to c4, bishop back to f8, queen to h5. Now that pawn is being targeted, and there's not much defense. Rook to e6, but now just comes knight to e3. We have g6 attacking the queen, queen moves. And here you see mostly a move like knight to d4, queen caps on b7, c captures. And after going for this bishop to d2, you can see that the rooks are joining. You have that, the c pawn is lost. There's an isolated pawn. There's a lot of weaknesses in black's camp, and I think Levon would have won it immediately if he found the move. But here after bishop to c5, he did not find the move. He went bishop to e3, but now just comes bishop captures, knight captures, and just d6. E captures, c captures, and now just going for king to h1. Finally finding it, but a few moves a bit too late. Rook to e8. Now just going after both of those pieces, but just knight to d5. We have knight to e7, and if you trade, you get the queen into the game with a tempo that would come with hitting the bishop. So not going for that. Bishop to f3, but bishop to e6, we have knight caps on e7, queen captures, queen to d4, a very nice centralizing move by Levon, like just centralizing the queen in the middle of the board. Amazing move. And also, you want to get the rook into the game, target that pawn, so that is also in the picture. And now just rook a to c8, but just c3, b6, and rook f2 e1. Now we have this queen to d7, a3, and also with ideas of going to b4, pushing the pawn all the way. And you have to understand this is very likely a threat, so you have to be very much careful, because in the end game, if there's a floating pawn, it's not a good endgame to have. Queen to b5, and now just a3. But Gukesh does have some ideas. There is also this floating pawn, and you might want to be able to take it. But g3 just does defend it, but you wouldn't want to play g3, because your position gets very weak, and you also have a light squared bishop. So rook e to d8, but now just h3. We have queen to a4, just going after that pawn, rook to e4, and now rook to c4. We have rook a to e1, but a very interesting choice of move by Gukesh. Gukesh in this position doesn't play a normal move, doesn't go like move this, bishop this, maybe attacking the queen. He goes for a very nice d5, and sorry, not with the white pieces, I mean, obviously, but he goes for d5. And now what do? There is a very strong move in this position, so I'm going to ask you to pause the video and try and find out the only move in this position that wins the game for Levon. I'll give you a couple of seconds. And the move that you're looking for, you can pause the video if you want to, but the move is this beautiful rook to e5. And once you find it, it just all makes sense. It took me 4 to 5 minutes to actually find this move. It's a very beautiful move. And the idea being that now what does black do? Black's only target was that rook, and now you can actually capture that, but is it the best move to actually capture that? Absolutely not, because well, there is a lot of pressure. First of all, first you want to push, but maybe after you push, you have this f5, and now the bishop doesn't have many squares, so you play this bishop to d7. But now comes an even beautiful move, f6, and now there's too much pressure. Too much pressure in this position. You could go for d captures, because you know that bishop is there. No longer, you know, that rook is being threatened. So after b captures, there is a lot of possibilities to go for in this position. I mean, there could be some mating ideas. The bishop could jump in, you know, trying to go for that mate. You could just capture, and after queen captures, rook can jump in for that mate. It's a very difficult position to hold with the black pieces. I mean, you're not surviving this game, definitely. In the hands of Levin, this is going to be absolutely amazing. But here after d5, we have rook captures. I mean, immediately, if you don't try to go for a move, or you don't understand that there is a move in this position, then you know it doesn't matter. But after queen captures, rook to d1, and after queen to c5, queen to d4, and now if you trade, I mean, it's still a draw. Queen captures, rook captures, and just rook to d7. But now just king to g1, and both players are going to bring their king into the game. This is supposed to be a very, very weak pawn, but now you have to understand you only have two pieces to put pressure. So I mean, there is no point in actually doing anything. But they could have claimed draw right here, but I think they just decided to go for it because it's a blitz game. Anything could happen, and Gukesh is really low on time. King to f8, but now just king to f2, king to e7, king to e3, and now just f6. But now this comes this rook to d2, bishop to f7, bishop to g4, rook to c7. Now that rook was under attack. Bishop to e2, king to d6, rook to d4, and now rook to e7. 6 check, king moves, and now just going for this rook. But if you trade, then you just fix the pawn structure. But here just bishop to d3 was played, but just rook captures, pawn captures, and now no longer isolated pawns. Now they're going to be opposing each other, and most likely this is going to end in a draw. But as it's a dead drawish endgame, so we're not going to be wasting that much time in this position. So I'm just going to be fast tracking a little bit of the moves. G5, now just comes g3. We have bishop to e6, h4, and now just bishop goes back. King to e3, bishop to e6, and bishop to g6. But now just king to e7, we have captures, f captures, h captures, h captures, and now just going for this bishop to d3. We have king to f6, king to d2, bishop to f5, bishop to e2. But now the bishop goes back. Bishop to d3, bishop to f5, bishop to b5. I mean, they should have claimed draw right here, but again, they're just trying to troll each other. Bishop to e6, king to e3, king to e7, and king to f3. Again, you have to come here because you want to oppose the king. So king to f6, bishop to e8, king to e7, bishop to h5, king to f6, king to e3, king to e7, bishop to f3, king to f6, and now just king to d3, king to e7, king to c3, king to d6, king to d2, king to e7, king to c3, king to d6, king to d2, king to e7, and now after king to c3, it was a threefold repetition. So both players agreed to a draw because there's simply nothing to go for. And this is the first match of the blitz game, so Gukesh getting a draw against such a strong opponent Levon, so definitely it's absolutely amazing for him. So let's see what he's able to do in the next rounds, and I'm going to be showing a few of Gukesh's games in the blitz section, and also some of the other games that was very, very interesting. So yeah, thank you all for watching. I'll be coming back with games like these, so stay tuned to the channel, subscribe to the channel, and I'll be seeing you guys very, very soon. Thank you all.